When my son entered the world, my mother walked into the delivery room and said coldly, "Don't expect us to cheer for a mistake." My father added, "Your brother's children will always be our priority." I stayed quiet, just nodding. 2 weeks later, the birth announcement appeared in the paper, right beside the notice that I had officially closed the trust fund under their names. Their phone calls haven't stopped since. "Just admit it, Henry. You did this to hurt us!" my brother shouted, slamming his palm against the dinner table so hard the silverware jumped. My mother's wine glass tilted, crimson spilling onto the white tablecloth. "You've always been jealous of your brother," she hissed. "Even tonight, you had to make everything about you." The air was thick with perfume, lies, and tension. I sat across from them, my fork untouched, watching the family dinner twist into another courtroom, where I was the only defendant. Dad's jaw flexed. "Your attitude has cost this family enough already. You ruined your mother's night. Again." My sister Ava whispered just loud enough for me to hear. Maybe he finally got tired of being invisible. That silence after her words, it was sharp, unsettling. Mom glared at her, then back at me. "What did you do, Henry?" she demanded. Her voice was trembling, not with fear, with something else. Guilt, maybe. I just leaned back and said quietly, "Maybe you should ask yourselves that." The room froze. That's when the fight truly began. My name is Henry Vale, 27, born in Boston, raised in the city's quieter edges, where concrete and cold shoulders taught me everything about family. I've always been the quiet one, the listener, the one they forgot to ask about, but expected to clean up the mess when things fell apart. My father, Raymond, owns a small contracting business, or rather, used to. My brother, Jason, managed the finances. My mother handled the image, and I was the mistake who never quite lived up to expectations. They liked me best when I was useful, when I fixed, paid, or stayed quiet, and I did. For years. But quiet doesn't mean blind, because what they didn't know was that I'd been watching, listening, collecting every unspoken truth they thought I'd never dare to touch. Family members introduced. Jason, 30, golden boy. He walked into every room like the air belonged to him. He got the best schools, the bigger bedroom, Dad's respect, and every excuse in the book. He's the one who'll carry the family name, Dad used to say. Mom, Evelyn, elegant, cold, calculating. Her love came with rules. Perfect posture, perfect grades, perfect silence. She called it discipline. I called it distance. Ava, 24, the sister who walked the line. She laughed at family dinners, but texted me after, "I know they're wrong, Henry. I just don't know how to stop them." And then there was Dad, the quiet tyrant. His love was ownership. He gave affection like a reward, not a right. That night, as Jason hurled accusations, Ava's eyes darted to mine, pleading silently for me not to say what I'd been holding back. But I'd carried their lies for too long. "What, don't pretend you don't know," Jason said, shoving a folded paper toward me. It was a bank statement, one with a number they weren't supposed to see. Mom's lips trembled. "You closed the family trust? That was your father's legacy." I looked at the document, then back at her. "It was never a family trust," I said calmly. "It was my savings, my inheritance, the one you told me didn't exist." Dad's voice thundered. "You ungrateful—" I didn't flinch. "Ungrateful? For what? The years I worked at your company unpaid, the college fund you gave to Jason, the house down payment you gifted him with my mother's savings." Their faces drained. Ava looked down, twisting her bracelet. They weren't angry about the money. They were angry because they'd been exposed. Mom stood, voice shaking. "We sacrificed everything for this family. You owe us respect." I met her eyes. "Respect isn't a debt." Jason laughed bitterly. "Still the martyr, always pretending you're the victim." "Maybe," I said, "but victims don't usually hold receipts." That line cracked something in the air. Ava looked at me, eyes wide. She knew I had proof. Years of transactions, documents, quiet betrayals. Dad pointed at me. "Don't push me, Henry. You'll regret it." I smiled slightly. "You've been saying that my whole life, and I've been regretting it anyway." Silence. That kind that tastes like metal and truth. 3 years ago, Dad's voice echoing down the hall. "Jason needs the tuition money more. He's business material. Henry can manage on his own." I was 24, working double shifts to pay my own rent. Mom had just texted me, "We're proud of you for being so independent." That was her way of saying, "You're on your own." The night Jason bought his first car, with money from my college savings, I didn't argue. I helped him park it. Ava saw me that night. "Why don't you ever fight back?" she'd asked. "Because they'd rather see me disappear than admit they're wrong," I told her. And I meant it. Back to the dinner table. Ava stood now, trembling. "Mom, tell him the truth. He deserves that much." Mom's face went pale. "Ava, don't." Jason looked confused. "What truth?" Ava's voice broke. "Dad used Henry's name to take the second mortgage 5 years ago. The one you said was for the company." Jason blinked. "What?" I already knew. I'd found the documents months ago. His signature forged, my credit wrecked. Dad's fork clattered onto the plate. Mom covered her mouth, whispering, "We did it for the family." "No," I said softly. "You did it for control." The room erupted. Voices over voices, guilt fighting pride. Jason shouted at Dad. Mom sobbed. Ava stepped back. But I stayed seated, calm. When the noise died, I spoke. "I gave you all my silence. Tonight, I give you the truth." I slid the folder from my jacket. Bank records, forged signatures, evidence. I sent copies to the bank and the IRS this morning. The rest goes to whoever wants the story. Dad froze. "You wouldn't." "Already did." Ava gasped softly, half fear, half relief. Mom's tears fell onto her glass plate. Jason just stared at me, realizing for the first time, I wasn't the quiet one anymore. I stood. "You taught me that blood means loyalty, but you forgot it runs both ways." Ava reached for my arm. "Henry, please, don't disappear." "I'm not disappearing," I said gently. "I'm just done existing where I was never seen." I walked out of the house as sirens echoed faintly in the distance. Maybe from the neighbors calling about the shouting. Maybe for something else. The air outside was cold, but it felt clean. For once. Weeks later, I saw my name cleared from the mortgage. Dad's business folded. Mom stopped appearing at charity events. Jason moved out of state. Ava, she still calls sometimes. We meet for coffee once a month. She never apologizes, but her silence carries enough of one. One night she said, "You could have destroyed them completely." I smiled. I didn't need to. The truth already did. For the first time, I slept without anger. And when I woke up, I realized something. Peace isn't loud. It's just the absence of needing to prove yourself anymore. If you were in Henry's place, would you forgive your family? Or would you walk away for good? Tell me in the comments. Your voice matters here. Share your thoughts. What would you do if silence was your only revenge? Like if you felt Henry's pain and strength. Subscribe for more stories that remind us. Sometimes walking away is the loudest thing you can do.